What got me interested in writing Alex Cross's trial is that it's such an unusual way to do a book. A fictional character, Alex Cross, writes a book, and that book is called Trial. And this is a story that Alex had heard as a kid and growing up from Nana Mama, and it had to do with a lot of lynchings that took place in a certain part of Mississippi. And Alex tells that story in this book, Trial. As it happens, one of their relatives was part of the situation down there. It's interesting because it reads a little bit like a history, but it's also extremely suspenseful. So you find out a few things about what it was like in the South during this period, and you also get a story that will keep you on the edge of your seats. When you're writing the kind of thrillers that I write, which are, we can't stop turning the pages, it's difficult to put a lot of backstory in, certainly backstory about the family. And in Alex Cross's Trial, I really get the opportunity to really lay out some backstory and also to say something about African Americans in this country and what some of them dealt with to get to where they are now. I read an awful lot about the South, a lot of good things, and also some negative things that were going on there during this period. The book takes place when Teddy Roosevelt was president, and he dispatches a guy who he trusts, a young lawyer from Washington, to get down and look into the situation in part of Mississippi where some lynchings are taking place, and the Ku Klux Klan has come back even though they've been outlawed at this point for several years. So I read a lot. I read a lot of old newspapers and books that were written about the period, and the result is this book, which, at least for fictional purposes, was written by Alex Cross. I think it is because it moves very, very quickly. My wife, who is not a huge fan of histories, she finds this to be her favorite book. And she likes the Cross books, and she likes the Women's Murder Club books. Alex Cross's Trial for her was the best of all of them. And I've had that reaction a lot now. A lot of people really like the story. It's certainly not superficial. It's an emotional story, and yet it's very suspenseful.